What is going on, everybody? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I've got a little bit of a different setup here for the live stream today, so hoping that it's going to be a fun experience. Go to the comments here. What's up, Terrence? Welcome to the live stream. So again, let me know in the chat really quick if you guys can hear me okay. I want to make sure before I go too, crazy today that you guys are hearing me loud and clear. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. A couple days ago, I guess it was last week, I did a live stream here on the channel with Manny Ortiz. We were going through everyone's Instagram profiles. And there were so many submissions. Like, we had 90 minutes. Really, Manny said he had an hour, and then he gave an extra 30 minutes. So really thankful for that. But there was just so many profiles that got sent through, and I couldn't see them. Like, when I go into the chat room, I would scroll and I couldn't see any of the earlier super chat donations that were sent. Which, if you did submit your profile and you sent a super chat donation, thank you so much. All of that goes towards creating more content for the channel, so I'm really appreciative of that. With that being said, I went back to the YouTube dashboard and I went through to the super chats, and I could actually see all the ones that I missed. I mean, there was a good probably 12 to 15 of you who gave a super chat and didn't get a review. So tomorrow I'm going to be going on live with Irene Rudnick. And I figured before we did that, let me go ahead and go back, and all the people that gave a super chat donation last week, I would go ahead today, because I'm actually here at the studio right now getting ready to shoot a video. And I figured before I get too far into it, I'll go ahead and take care of those reviews. So with that being said, there's a lot of them. I'm going to try to go through as many of them as I can today, probably in about 90 minutes that I have today. So I'll go through as many of these as I can. Anything beyond that, the only way that I can manage it is any super chat donations that you guys put through. You guys will get bumped up to the top of the list. If there aren't any, I'll just start selecting them at random. And with that being said, let me share my screen here so you guys can see. So share screen. And it sounds like, or it looks like you guys are saying you can hear me well, which is perfect. All right, so application window. And let's see, let's choose this one. Okay. All right, so let's try this thing out here. Stream. It wasn't doing this before, but oh, there it goes. That's what I want. Okay, there it is. Okay. Anyway, let's get started. We're going to start off right now with this profile from Maxine.worthy from Gainesville, Florida. And she says it's her real name. I would have wondered that, because that's a pretty awesome name. Let's kind of scroll through the Instagram feed here. And I'm going to give you guys kind of a couple of things. I want to give you my initial impressions on the feed itself. I'll kind of look at the work, tell you guys some things. I want to pick out like one thing you're doing really good, and then one thing you can improve on, and then hopefully we could just kind of keep it moving. So just kind of scrolling through the feed here just to get an overall impression. I think my first immediate impression of this profile is that the work has, Maxine, you have a really interesting style, interesting portrait style. Everything has this like film quality and look to it. It looks really organic, which I really like. So, that's kind of the good. I would say the thing that I would look to improve, or just keep an eye out for and be mindful of, because your images are really clean. try to keep it to, as far as your Instagram stuff, like, let me go back to the top here. So it says you are, I mean, it doesn't say specifically what kind of photography you specialize in, but you've got 261 followers. So I would tell you, if you want to grow your Instagram page, you really have to kind of narrow down what it is that you do, right? And so when I see your most recent stuff, I see a lot of portraits and they're great. A lot of diversity, a lot of variety. But then there's some just like, you know, like stuff like this where, you know, I would have to click on this to try to figure out what this is. And because there's just so much going on Instagram, people don't have time for that, right? They won't take the time to click on that. So, you know, that's something that you have to keep in mind. You also have kind of like, you've got a bunch of portraits here. It looks like the most recent stuff is portraits, but then, you know, there's just like random stuff spread throughout. So, you know, that's really my biggest advice. Like, your portrait work is really clean. It's really nice. Try to focus on that a little bit more. And, you know, I would even, as I start to build up my Instagram, if this was my feed, as I start to shoot more images, I would go back and I would just delete some of those that don't really fit the narrative. I still do that to this day. Like, I'll go back to my old images and I'll just delete them if they just don't really fit what I usually do. So yeah, hopefully that helps out. Let's go on to the next one here. All right, so we got Ryan Nolan Photo, award-winning portrait and headshot photographer. Very, very cool dude. I've got him on social media. He's one of my supporters. So thank you, Ryan. Much appreciated. And let's look through your Instagram feed here. So you have couple thousand followers, which is good. You're off to a really good start here. Portraits look really clean so far. Like, I'm digging what I'm seeing. Looks like, you know, you said that you primarily are a portrait photographer, and I could kind of see that. Without scrolling too much farther, I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to click on this. And so it says class of 2022 Cyber Monday savings 50% off. So that's cool to do promotions and stuff like that through social media. Totally fine. What I would recommend to you is, anytime you run a promo on social media, once the promo is done, get rid of this, delete it, because you're going to have people that are going to come to you like after Cyber Monday, and maybe they may want to book you for a session, and then they see on your social media that you were doing 50% off. What do you think they're going to do? First thing they're going to do, they're going to be like, hey, so Ryan, could you give me 50% off right now? I know it's not Cyber Monday, but you were willing to do it then. Why won't you do it now? So that's something you have to look out for. I would highly recommend any promos and stuff like that. It's totally fine to do them, but just get rid of them, you know, once the promo is done, because your images are clean, you know, really nice, clean portraits. I see you were watching Glitch. So for those of you who didn't know, I was on Sal Sincata's Glitch virtual event, had a great time, taught a few classes, did a shootout with Sal and Vanessa Joy. Really, really fun time that I ended up having there. And looks like he was watching from his office. You know, this is another thing too, like, this is cool, but I would say like stuff like that, where it's personal stuff, I would have like a separate Instagram page for stuff like that. You know, and just keep the photography Instagram page just kind of narrowed down to just your best work, which you have a lot of really, really clean work. Yeah, I mean, you're doing a great job with just taking some really great portraits of people. So just share more of that. Remove the personal stuff. And again, this is just one man's opinion, but remove the personal stuff. Get rid of all the advertisements. Once they're done, get rid of it. As far as people know, the only time that you're running promos, like, they'll know about the promos when they're running, and after that, just get rid of it. So, Ryan, thanks for the support. Thanks for the super chat donation. Hope that helps. And then we'll continue on here with DJ Pixel's photography. So it's Devkanth Rao, North Carolina-based commercial and fashion photographer, entrepreneur. All photos are by me. All right. So let's scroll through here. So right out of the gates, really creative portraiture that I'm seeing. Creative styling, good lighting. The photos are a little bit like when I see this block of photos here, they look to be a little bit underexposed a little bit. And I'm seeing it on two different monitors. I've got a 4K 10-bit monitor that's the laptop. So if you see me looking down, it's my laptop here. And then I have a 32-inch monitor that's like just above my camera. On both monitors, they're slightly underexposed, this row of photos here, which, you know, if you're scrolling through a social media feed and the photos are all kind of underexposed, it could be a little distracting. Like, not necessarily distracting, but it's not going to attract attention, right? Because the images just don't pop enough. So I would probably boost the exposure on a few of these just a little bit, maybe like quarter of a stop to a half a stop overall, just so that they're not so dark and that they jump off of the page a little tiny bit. But yeah, let's keep scrolling through here. Cool locations, good lighting, good posing. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that's really kind of the name of the game for me on these. You have some really beautiful portraits, great location work, great studio work. Some of these, I would just say, just feel just a touch underexposed. So this could be something where when I see this, I think to myself, I wonder if your monitor has been calibrated. So if you are using like a basic monitor, I would recommend like get a good quality photography monitor, because you're going to be able to see the luminosity, the colors. And if you do have a good monitor, it might be time to calibrate it every month or so. Really, every few weeks, I'm trying to calibrate it, but sometimes just don't get around to it. So highly recommend to you, color calibrate your monitor, make sure that your luminosity is right, because maybe on your monitor, it looks bright, but then when it's getting to social media, it's not popping, you know, it's not giving that wow factor that I think a lot of these shots have. They have the wow factor, they're just underexposed, you know, like I see this shot here, and I'm just thinking like you have all this detail down here that's being lost, you know, and so the highlighted areas are fine, but I just think that exposure wise, these need to go up just a touch. So yeah, hopefully that helps out. Thank you for the super chat donation. And let's scroll back up here. So I've got Kevin from South Florida, Visual KBJ, 6,800, almost 6,900 followers. He's a modelographer, which is pretty cool. So let's scroll down here, and right out of the gates, man, just really beautiful portraits, you know, good feel to these shots. Very like what I would call Instagram friendly type of portraits. Yeah, really beautiful, clean work. Great subjects. Looks like you work quite a bit with models and stuff in the area. Good natural light, and happens to be a Sony shooter, so you get an extra point or two for that. So yeah, really beautiful work. Great portraits. So just go through a few more here, and I'll give you just my quick impressions. So there's a couple of, actually just one really kind of simple thing that I would recommend. Is just kind of like, for example, like a shot like this, it looks like this is a video, which is fine. So maybe I'll hold off on that advice there. Scroll back up to the top. Let's see what the most recent stuff did. So 141, 327, 281. It's actually kind of surprising that the engagement is as low as it is. So let me see. This one was posted 16 hours ago. Okay. The one before that, a day ago. Okay. Seeing good so far. The next one, 4 days ago. And the one before that, 5 days. So it looks like you're doing the right things. You know, you're posting relatively frequently. I would say at a bare minimum, you should be posting at least once a day. That hopefully will help to kind of just keep people going to your work and your work being seen on many people's feeds. Using hashtags is going to be a big thing. You know, looking through these here, there's no hashtags at all in your description. I mean, you've got some here. So hashtag Orlando, hashtag compliments, photo of the day. Some of these hashtags, I could tell you right now, there's so many people that are using it. The likelihood of someone seeing it, like photo of the day, for example, I wouldn't use that hashtag because there's so many millions of people using it that the probability of somebody clicking on that hashtag and seeing your work is like less than 1%. So I would look and maybe start to target some other hashtags that maybe have less people using them, just so that hopefully you could show up. So when someone clicks on that and they see the most recent ones, that yours will show up. Because if you have millions of people posting like every day, yours is going to get, the minute you use your hashtag photo of the day and you post that photo, it gets bumped all the way down. So, but yeah, I mean, you're doing really good work. Keep up the great work. Keep posting. And yeah, I mean, this is really clean work. Nothing else to say about it. Let's go on to the next one. So Sigurdurg photography. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. I apologize if I just butchered that. But family and event photography. Let's see. Let's kind of go through a few here. All right. So already like getting film vibes, which I'm always a fan of just seeing like filmic images. So really nice, really clean. This is the kind of work that that gets you, you know, paid and gets you booked as a portrait photographer. So really nice. Good pictures of kids. You got families. Really nice. So, you know, in a sequence like this, if you are shooting a lot, which hopefully you are, I would recommend just picking one of these shots and just posting one, as opposed to doing, you know, 3 of them in a row like this. Because what's tricky is, let's just say, for example, like you posted this one first, right? It got 8 likes. Then you followed it up with this one, you got 12. Then you got this one that had 12. So what ends up happening is when you post this one first and it does 8 likes and it doesn't take off, the problem is that if you follow up that post that wasn't very popular with another post of the same set, it's probably not going to do as well. So what I tend to do is I'll pick the very best shot, or like the second to the best shot from that photo shoot, and I'll post that one. And then I'll give it a little bit. I'll post a different session, you know, different day, or maybe I'll post a throwback shot. Then I go ahead and I'll post another one again, if that series of shots, or if that one image did well. If it didn't do well, you know, maybe I'd go back to the image and just try to figure out, like, what is it about this image that didn't do well, you know? And I think for this shot, I mean, it's a nice photograph. You know, it's a little bit pulled, like they're kind of small in the frame. They're not jumping out at you. So if you're looking at this on a phone and you're just scrolling, it's kind of hard, you know, to see this. But, you know, that's just picking out one image here. But a lot of the other stuff is just beautiful, you know, great locations, great faces. You know, this is the same type of thing here. Like, I would split some of these up. Even if it's multiple people like this might be okay. You know, where you have like a picture of a couple, or if you have like post the individual, then post the individual, and then post them as a couple later on, that could be totally fine too. But yeah, I mean, this is beautiful. Really good portrait work. Keep up the great work. That's really my best advice, because I'm seeing it pretty frequently here. It's just posting from the same set back to back. Just split it up, you know, split it up just a little bit, and hopefully you're using your hashtags. What? No hashtag. What? No description, no hashtag. Okay, just nix all the advice I just gave. There's a very important thing you need to do. Your copy is important. So what am I looking at? Like, I get no information. There's no description. So you need that. You need a description. You need to type something up, even if it's just like a quote, like put something in there. And then you have to use your hashtags. Like that's very, very important to do. Yeah, I mean, I could already tell right away. Nobody's going to be able to see these if you're not at least doing that. So yeah, hopefully that advice helps. Really beautiful images. Like I can't really say too much about that because they're clean. They look good, but no descriptions and no hashtag is like the cardinal sin of Instagram. So yeah, keep shooting the way that you're shooting, but take a few moments, sit down, write something that's heartfelt, even if it's, saying something nice about the session. Like it was so nice to work with this person. Their personality was so fun. They're so funny, whatever. Like you have to write something and then use appropriate hashtags so that people can find the work. So really nice. Keep up the great work. Thanks for the super chat donation. And here we go. Let's look at CS Wong photo, Corey Sherwood. Let's see, Los Angeles photographer. All right, I'm expecting big things from an LA photographer because you guys have everything there. Beautiful locations, great people, So let's take a look here. Yeah, really nice filmic quality that I'm seeing to these, really organic looking. And when I say organic, maybe I should define this. So to me, organic are like photographs that don't look like they're digital, right? So back in the day, film photos all pretty much look like film because they were shot on film. But then when digital started to come about, digital photos have this look to them that when I see them, they look fine. There's nothing wrong with it. My images, I feel they look very much digital. But, for me, like the holy grail is taking these photos that have more of a classic vibe to them. And usually that classic vibe is kind of a film look to it. So when I say organic, I'm saying that it doesn't look digital, right? And that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. So yeah, really interesting images, good lighting. You've got a good balance of like location work with, studio work, good fashion images that I think I wouldn't be surprised if I saw these in a fashion magazine. They look great. Let me just go back up top here and let's see, for example, got 127 likes. Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is really good. The only other thing that I would say is maybe to start tagging some feature pages, because you're using the hashtag, which is great, but and you've got some great photographers following you as well. So, your work is good. I don't think there's any, argument or anything like that, but I think at 1,853 followers, you should have a lot more. And that's just a matter of just getting featured on some of the bigger pages to get exposed to a wider audience. Because I think once you are exposed to that audience, people are going to see this and be like, wow, I like this. This looks great. So keep up the great work, Corey. Really beautiful work. Thank you for the super chat donation. Let's look at photography by Dacia Monique. And before I scroll too far, I'm going to stop really quick and just say, one of the things I would highly recommend to you and to anyone else that has a very long Instagram handle, make it shorter, make it short and sweet. Because for one, like photography is an easy thing to spell. So no problem there. By is easy to spell, no problem. Dacia Monique, I think if you ask like 10 different people on the streets to spell that, they might have a hard time with that. And so I know when I was typing this up, I saw the name on one page and then I went to Instagram and started typing it. And I'm like, oh man, I misspelled it. So the page wasn't available. And I'm sure I'm not the first person that's done that. So I would highly recommend, you can have your name because your name is Dacia Monique Photography. But I would shorten that a little bit. I would make it very easy for people to spell, at least in the beginning. Try to make it as simple as possible. And as short as possible, even if it's just Dacia Monique, like that's great if you can get it. But then having it really long and having that underscore at the end, that kind of is just not the most social media friendly handle. So just a really short nitpick, but let's look at the photos. All right, good mix of stuff like this, good light. Cute kid, really cute photos. Yeah, so a couple of things. So there's a lot of like good portraits and good shots, and then there's some like what I would consider to be snaps. You know, they're just kind of like almost photojournalistic type of just shots. And like, say for example, like a shot like this could totally work, but it works when it's a face that we recognize, right? So like if we see a random photo like this and it's, you know, Drake, like totally fine. You can get away with that because it's Drake, you know, and you'd see it and you'd be like, oh, wow, that's him cutting up, talking about something, right? So it doesn't work as much. And again, this is my opinion. It doesn't work as much when I don't know who any of these people are. Then it just goes into the like, you know, snapshot type of territory. So I see hashtag up and coming rapper. So that's cool. You know, if they're like, I work with artists that are up and coming as well. And when I do that, I try to just photograph them and make them look their best. You know, I feel like this is very low impact, especially when I don't know who the people are. And we only want high impact stuff, high impact visuals on our Instagram pages. So, you know, I would highly, highly recommend just, you know, like this high impact, like this is, you know, it's graphic. It's, you know, I would say I would prefer to see this over the shots that I just saw, or even something like this where, you know, anytime I'm photographing somebody, again, the only way this image would work where they're not looking at the camera is if it was somebody famous. Like it would have to be, because anybody else to me, like I see the photo and I'm like, man, I wish he was looking at the camera, you know? And as a photographer, if I'm taking this photo, I'm like, dude, look at me. Like, look at me. I'm trying to take your photo. I'm trying to make you look good. Like, why are you looking away from me? You know, that's just me. Like, I want to make people look awesome. And I feel like if he saw this photo, you know, if I took this photo of him and he saw it, he'd be like, anybody could have taken this photo of me, you know? So again, hopefully this advice helps out. You know, there's a lot of like, looks like, you know, just family snaps, which is cool. But keep the family stuff to your personal page. You know, when it comes to business, like you want to post the kind of images that get you more business, and it's not the snaps, you know, unless you're trying to do stuff for a magazine or whatever, you know, and then they pay you for that, and don't post that, you know, just post the really good portraits that will get you booked, and, you know, portrait and event shooter. So post those portraits and event photos that people look at and say, ooh, I got to book this person for my next portrait or my next event, because they make people look good, right? So just a little bit of feedback. Keep on shooting. Sony A7 III shooter. So keep it going. You know, really good start to your portfolio at 73 followers. So keep it going. Let's see. I'm going to take a second here just to go through the chats. So Gelson was saying, what a class from a pro, loving it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully you guys are, you know, learning a couple things, because I know for me, like when I'm looking at other people's portfolios, I end up learning quite a bit too. So hopefully you guys are learning stuff alongside of me here. And by the way, do me a favor. If you guys are watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Click that subscribe button, because I have videos coming out all the time. I'm going to be doing more portrait reviews and portfolio reviews as this month continues. And I've got two really exciting videos that I'm going to be dropping here really soon. One of them is going to be comparing the A7R4 against the ZV-1. Got some really interesting results that I'm going to share with you. And then I have a video talking about 5 things under $200 that you can get for yourself or for your you know, portrait photography friend that's like studio stuff that I think everybody should have. So those videos are going to be coming out here really soon. So yeah, let's see. Carson was saying you're right. See so many Instagram profiles that are overpacked. Yep. So what that refers to is having images from the same set, like from the same session, and like putting them back to back to back. You want to split those things up. So anyway, good comments. Continue on in the chat. Actually, someone was asking, Jeff Jeter says, should I separate out my landscape and portrait photos? Until you become an established photographer, and even then I would tell you, you probably still should separate it, but yes, you should separate them 100%. Let's see. All right, so let us continue on here. Oh, actually, hold on. We got another question here. How do I get more natural looking images without having to do too little on my photos? So I think, honestly, when it comes to getting natural looking photos, you have to train your eyes to what looks natural to begin with. To me, the shots that look really natural, it's a shot that has exposure that's under control. So a shot where, you know, you don't have crazy blown out highlights, you know, shots that have grain to me look quite a bit more natural because it looks like it was taken with film. Usually that grain is added in post-production. You know, usually those are the things, you know, having a really balanced exposure really for me is what makes a shot look, you know, look more natural. So good question. Let's keep going here. We're going to start off here or continue on with Alby K Creations. He's got a little art over comfort from Peter McKinnon, a little quote from him, which is pretty cool. 281 followers. All right, so it doesn't say, it just says photography, right? So let's see. Let me see if there's a theme here, or if it's just kind of, you know, a little bit of everything. So right now I'm going to stop already. Let's go back up top. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos in a row of the same person. Unless this person is famous, I wouldn't be posting the same person over and over again, like split it up. You know, at best I might do 2 of the same, you know, like 2 photos back to back of the same person. But, you know, even this, like, not only is it back to back, but it looks like, yeah, then you've got it full. So yeah, just pick the best shot and just kind of space them out. I'm going to keep scrolling here and then back to it again. I don't know if these are selfies or what it is, but yeah. Really, I mean, the portraits themselves look great. They've got interesting looks to them, good angles, you know, not heavily processed, which I think is good. These are all really good things. Really, my biggest advice is going to be just looking at this kind of objectively is just, you know, you need to photograph more people so that you don't have to post, you know, pictures back to back to back like that. So, but yeah, I mean, that's really the biggest advice I can give you. So keep on shooting. Thank you for the super chat donation. Let's continue on here. We've got Bartia is on Insta, and so wannabe photographer, full-time adventurer, part-time nerd. Yeah, that almost could describe me, except I'm full-time nerd and like part-time adventurer. So yeah, let's look through these photos here. Really, really moody, like moody vibes I'm getting off of these first few portraits. Really nice, like this. Yeah, this is cool. You know, this has that organic film quality that I like to see in photos and see in portrait work. Some of these photos, I'm not a big fan of having the lines on the side like that. Usually what I end up doing is I'll, basically just fill up the frame with the photo. So just kind of pinch and zoom it out. If you have to shoot it in such a way to where maybe you take the one and then immediately after take one a little wider, so that you can kind of create a 4x5 that still has everything in it that you want. That would be advisable. Some of these feel, again, like just a touch underexposed, and maybe the exposure looks fine for your portfolio, but for Instagram, I think the photos need to pop a little bit more. And when the photos are a little bit dark and underexposed feeling, I'm not saying that they are, right? But they feel a little underexposed. And so I think, some of these photos may not get as much love and interaction because they just feel like people aren't going to see it, But yeah, I mean, this is really beautiful work, good film quality to these. Again, I would just say get rid of these black bars because you need to maximize the real estate that Instagram is giving you, and maybe just boost the exposure just a touch on a few of these just for Instagram. If you want to have them differently on your website, that's totally fine. But yeah, that would be my advice. Thanks, Bartia, for your super chat. Hopefully that helps. And let's go to Anthony Elix from Tampa, Florida, Sony Alpha shooter. 16.2 thousand followers. All right, so he's doing good things. Let's take a look here. Scroll through. I'm getting LA vibes from these photos. Like this feels like an LA based portfolio that I'm looking at with the lighting and the faces and stuff, which is good. Like really, really good. Great work. Really good location stuff. Great lighting. Obviously, fantastic models that he's working with. So yeah, I'm surprised, man. When I click on something like this is a beautiful portrait, and 98 likes, man. I don't know what's up with people. It's crazy. Like this, well, I already hovered 165. I was going to say this should easily be over 1,000. This should easily be over 1,000. So why isn't it? Let's see. Let's click on this. 94 comments, which is good. All right, so straight away, Liza in a suitcase. I'm going to go to the recent stuff before I give this feedback because you guys probably already know what I'm about to say, right? You guys want to say in the chat room what I'm about to say? See if I'm predictable. Jacqueline and a butterfly. Tatiana and black and white. So here's the deal. The work is good, right? The work is really good. The subjects are good. The lighting is good. Instagram is one of these places where you have to use the descriptions. You have to use hashtags or else people are not going to see your work. Unless you have some other platform where you have, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are going to come to your Instagram profile because you're feeding it from, like, say, YouTube, for example. Like a lot of YouTubers, you go to their Instagram page and they are like massive, A lot of that comes from the traffic that they're getting on YouTube that they go onto their Instagram and they follow them from there. And they don't have to do all that stuff. They don't have to do descriptions and hashtags and all that stuff because they're being viewed on another platform and then they're bringing that traffic over to Instagram. So when that happens, forget what I'm saying. But right now, you have to make sure that you're using your hashtags, you're using descriptions. If anything, like you put down your Sony Alpha shooter, that's great. What camera did you use? What lens did you use? Giving information like that, I think, appeals to another audience that may decide they want to follow you and engage with your work and give likes. When you start sharing, like, hey, I shot this with an A7R4 with a 55 1.8. These are my settings, whatever. Like giving additional information in the description sometimes will appeal to a different type of audience, and they'll follow and they'll like the photos and they'll engage more and they'll look for your work. And then it also gives the opportunity for feature pages to feature your stuff too. So like, if you shot with a certain brand of lighting and you tag that light brand, they may share you on their Instagram page, and then all of a sudden your network gets bigger. So that's kind of a big thing, you know, having hashtags and having a description is big time. And, you know, to be at 16.2 thousand followers without it just is compliments to you and your work, you know, that people are seeing it and they're resonating with it. So keep up the great work. Really good. This is an easy fix, you know, descriptions and hashtags are key, very key. And I'm seeing in the chat room, need to work those hashtags. Yes. No descriptions. Yes. Captions. Yes. You know, all of this. Terrence was saying finding good hashtags is the hardest part of posting on Instagram for me. It can be. It definitely can be. But, you know, part of that is just researching. You know, sometimes you could find other photographers that do what you do and just kind of see what hashtags they're using and see if they, you know, click on it and see where they rank. See if they're showing up in that featured area. But yeah, finding good hashtags, it's trial and error, I think. So let's go on to our next one here. Alonzo Mitchell, North Carolina fashion photographer. Check out my portfolio. Cool. All right, 3,400 followers. So let's see. All right, first one is a video. That's cool. Looks like a reel or a IGTV. Then we have some really nice studio fashion work. Really nice. First major publication for El Arabia. Very, very well done. It's beautiful. Really fantastic. Like this, I love. I'm a big fan. If you guys know my stuff, big fan of beauty work. And that's a really, really nice shot. Creative lighting techniques being demonstrated here. Strong lighting, great faces. Yeah, wow. I mean, that's kind of my first thing, you know, is wow. Like really beautiful work and a good variety and very artistic, very creative. Underwater stuff, like, come on, you know, got a little bit of everything here. By the way, I probably forgot to say this earlier, but do me a favor, you know, follow these people, like give them a follow. We should all be supporting each other. And, you know, hopefully you guys follow the profiles that we're looking at here. Give them a word. Tell them I saw your work on Miguel's live stream. But yeah, man, you know, this is just really cool, really good work. I could see why you got published on in L, and just really, really good work. Just keep doing more of this. That's my best advice. Keep doing more of it. You know, the other thing too, kind of looking at this, I don't know, like using your own hashtag is fine. There just needs to be a little bit more in the descriptions as well, you know, because like this shot only having 194 likes is not, like, it's a travesty. This shot here, 243, travesty. Like beautiful photos, really creative. You know, this is one of those things where you got to focus more on your SEO, because I think that's what's going to get you in front of more people. Because once they see the work, they're going to like it and they're going to follow it because it's strong. So that's my best advice. Just like I said earlier, you know, just got to be on top of that SEO game. And this will grow. And, you know, as this grows, hopefully new opportunities grow as well. So keep it up. Really fantastic portfolio. Thank you for the super chat donation. And let's keep it moving here with Chopski. Skateboarding, motorcycles, traveling visual artist, currently in Buffalo, hashtag Sony Alpha. All right, so first things first, I mean, just looking at this first set of images, it's like, wow, you know, lots of color, lots and lots and lots of color, like just really beautiful, kind of cinematic feel to these images, really creative all around, not just with the portrait stuff, but you know, kind of integrating the motorcycles and all that. You know, a couple of things like, so like, let's say a photo like this, right? The photo itself is beautiful, right? But these colors are just like a little bit too much. Like, just some of you guys might be like, Miguel, come on now, you're being generous here. But it's a little bit too much. Like, the sky is, you know, and I get the complementary colors and all that stuff, but it's like, it's a bit much. And it goes from being organic to just being something where, like, it'll work good for Instagram, but for commercial work, you know, this is going to be too much. Like, this right here this will get you paid. Like, this is good. You know, somebody, you could see someone like a Hyundai, you know, going and reaching out and being like, hey, this is awesome. Like, we want you to do something for us, because it has like a really clean, organic look to it. I think I featured, now that I see this, I featured this on Sony Portraits. So yeah, I'm remembering now. So yeah, really, really great portrait work. You know, I would just say be careful with with the editing. You want to get those complementary colors and all of that, which is great, but just don't get into the realm of it being like over the top, you know, like this, for example. Like, most people's brains, even if they don't know exactly what's going on, they can look at this and be like, all right, this doesn't look real. And it just looks a little too overdone. Like, this photo as a raw file, I'm sure looked really beautiful. Just dial back a little bit on the saturation of colors, and I think you have like a very interesting, very creative style, you know. Yeah, same thing here with these skies. You know, you want to get that rich melanin skin tone with the blue background, and that's beautiful. But the skies, just dial it back just a little tiny bit. You don't need to do that much, you know, to kind of like have that complementary color working for you. But really beautiful work. Keep it up. You know, 11.6K followers. So you're on the right track. Keep it going. Keep shooting. Thank you for the super chat donation. Let's go to Abdiche Photography, medical imaging student, portraits, fashion, lifestyle, photography, and retouching. All right, let's scroll through these. Trying to get that Coca-Cola money. I see you. All right, good portraits. Yep. Looking good. Very nice. University of Exeter. Yes. Yeah. All right. So, you know, again, like seeing these three back to back, you know, same feedback that I gave earlier. You want to make sure that you're mixing it up. You know, pick the best shot to begin with and kind of go from there. You know, shots like this, I'm not a huge fan of, unless you're doing this as an advertisement for, you know, a hat company. But even then, don't know. Like, these are great. You started off the Instagram page with some really strong portraits, which is really cool. So yeah, you know, that's really the thing I would say. Like, there's a few of these where it's back to back, the same people. Split it up just a touch, because you have some really clean portrait work. Let me see on the, yeah, see another one. Literally, like, another one is your description, but it's also another one of, you know, a person not doing descriptions, not doing hashtags. You have to use them. I hopefully for you guys that are watching, you'll go back into your Instagram pages and look at your recent photos. And if you don't want to go through the hassle of doing it to your old ones, just start posting your photos with a description, whether it's a clever quote, whether it's details on how you shot the photo, the gear that you used. I don't care. Post something in the description besides another one, because to me, another one could be taken like a bunch of different ways. Another one could be like, oh, here's another one. Another one could be like, you know, DJ Khaled, and another one, you know, like another amazing shot, right? But it's open to interpretation, you know. And the other thing is, this was 5 weeks ago. Let's see, this was November 3rd. I'm going to give you the same advice I'm going to give myself, which is that you need to post more. And I know you're an imaging student, but you know, when you're saying DM for inquiries and stuff, people like to work with people that are active and that are busy. So if you're approaching this from a business perspective, that you want to get more portrait and fashion and lifestyle work, you have to post at least once a day. If you take the weekends off, you take the weekends off, but more activity is going to be very, very important because your work is good, you know, good lighting, dramatic shots, but use your descriptions, use your hashtags, and this 190 will be at least like triple that in no time. So thanks, Adam, for your super chat. Hope that helps. And let's go to Charles Preston from Dallas, Texas. And let's scroll through here. Love this. So this is a good example of a photo where, like, I was just showing you guys earlier, the Chopski, how he had like the really like crazy saturation of colors. This to me would be a much better example of like a good balanced, you know, where you have like blue skies, but it's not so crazy. It's not like completely out of the realm of like possibility that this was like the real colors that were present the day of. So compliments to the, you know, to you for the color grade here. Cool photos. This one here, if it was me, I would probably not post this one because you have all of these where you see the people's faces and expressions and poses. And this one, you know, I see the back of his head. I've yet to see a great photo of the back of somebody's head. I'm waiting for it. So maybe I might be wrong. Maybe one day somebody will post it and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I need to post the back of the head more. But, you know, saying it with love, like, get rid of it. You don't want it. Especially when you got photos like this. I mean, come on now, you know, cute kids, you know, great balanced exposure. You know, when we're talking about photos looking natural, highlights in this aren't blown. You know, it feels like a scene out of a movie. Like this is what you want. Last one from this set. And then let's see, we scroll down. Okay, so we got hashtags. That's cool. DFW portraits. Yeah, so this is cool. You're doing the right things here. Yeah, good studio stuff. I mean, this is great. This is really great. Skin tones here look amazing. Beautiful, you know, photos in these backgrounds here. So yeah, I mean, this is like really good, really clean, clean work. You know, keep doing that. Keep using your hashtags. Yeah, this is this is really good work. That's all I can say. 10.3K followers. Keep up the really good work. I would maybe put a little bit more information here as far as like what you do. Because saying you're in Dallas, Texas is fine, but what do you do? What do you want to do more of? You know, put all of that in the profile area of your Instagram because that really helps. So thank you very much for the super chat. Hope that helped. Let's continue on. I'm going to look in the chat here. So let's see. So actually, Anthony is in the chat here. He says, I used to have a clothing line a few years ago with 60,000 followers. A few of them followed my personal page. This is my personal page that I would like to transition to my photography page. Yeah, so I didn't even know that, but like that's what I'm saying. Like if you have a separate Instagram or a Facebook or a YouTube page or something like that where you're feeding, you know, traffic to another page, your personal Instagram page in this case, like that's awesome. But you know, at the same time, it's like if you want that to organically grow on its own, these are just easy things that you can do. The descriptions and the tags are very important to make sure that you keep growing, you know, and that this one grows organically apart from your clothing line. So let's continue on. The Clark, 1,828 followers in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm going to say the same thing before I even scroll down because I see some really good stuff from what I can see, but I need to know what you do. What does the Clark do? Because right now, I mean, the Clark looks like it's, you know, you're knocking it out of the park with these beauty shots. Really nice, beautiful close-up images. Very, you know, it's a smaller portfolio. You know, this is a nice shot. But I would tell you, looking at the retouch on this versus, I don't know, looking at something like this, for example, you know, I think this is one of those things where, like, even though your portfolio, it looks like you haven't posted too many images, I would say like this one needs to go, because it looks like, you know, if I see this photo, I would have thought it was a totally different photographer that shot that. But really clean beauty work, you know. The only advice I can give is to keep posting. You got 1,828 followers with, you know, 6, 9, 10 posts. Man, it took me, I don't even know. It took me a whole lot more before I had that many followers. So your images look good. You know, hopefully, let's see. Let me click on this. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. So, you know, in a portrait like this, you got the model tag, the agency tag, makeup artist, that's great. But then you have the product list, right? And you've got Bobbi Brown, MAC Cosmetics, you know, all the different companies who have their products on this person's face, you know, the camera equipment that was used, the hashtags. So for those of you who are like, you know, I don't know what to do, like if the person's wearing a shirt or jeans or whatever, take note of what it is that they're wearing and hashtag, you know, Levi's jeans. Like it's not as difficult as you would think to come up with good hashtags and descriptions. This is what you want to do for beauty work. So the Clark, if you're a beauty photographer, I would put that in the profile, but really beautiful work. Thank you for the super chat. Keep shooting. We're keeping moving here. Time flies, man. It's been almost an hour. If you guys are enjoying this, leave a thumbs up on the video as well, please, and thank you. So let's look at Canary Kit 3000. The Canary's artist customizer, photographer, commissions closed for December. All right, so they're done for the year. Let's scroll through here. We got a picture 3 in a row, same person with the cool lighting. Mix it up. That's advice number 1 as I scroll down. Got 3 in a row of the shoes. Really cool shoes, but again, mix it up. 3 in a row of the same model. Actually, no, 6. Yeah, 6 in a row, looks like. Could be wrong. Maybe it's not the same model, but it looks like it. Pick the best one, you know, split these things up a little bit so that they each have their own opportunity to breathe. You know, same thing here, beautiful lighting, beautiful, you know, subjects. Looks like you got the shoe game real heavy on Instagram, which is great. So that's the other thing too, is trying to figure out, like, you know, you've got portraits and then you have pictures of shoes, right? A lot of pictures of shoes. And then you go back to the portraits that are awesome, you know, and then you go back to the shoes. So I would create an Instagram profile that's just for shoes. Because for me, if let's say I'm into shoes, right? And I go and I see your Instagram and one day you post this and you post, you know, all these interesting shoes, and I follow your page because of these shoe photos that you have, you know, and I'm like, oh man, they got all these like interesting shoes. And all of a sudden you start posting pictures of women and it's not even like, I can't even see her feet. Like, is she wearing these shoes? Like, where did she come from? Right. So, you know, that's kind of the thing. That's the mentality. It's like, you know, and then you go back to posting interesting shoes. So if the shoe thing is something that you want to do, I don't know if you like sell these shoes or, you know, if you're trying to get picked up by a retailer or a brand or whatever the case might be, but you want to make sure that you have a very cohesive page. If somebody goes and follows you, they're following you for your shoe stuff or they're following you for your portrait stuff. It's a little confusing, and your portrait work is fantastic. You know, the photos of the shoes look great too. But yeah, that's really the biggest advice. Split it up. You know, have a special page just for the shoes, and you could even tag, like, let's say if you make this your portrait page, you can link your other Instagram page and you could say, you know, my shoe page or something like that. And if people are interested in both, then they'll follow you on both. But you definitely want to keep it nice and kind of have it set to one niche, and that way you can grow it from there. So hopefully that feedback helps. Thank you for the super chat donation. let's keep it moving here. We got the Nerd Gen. Huge fan of superhero genre, 80s cartoons. I am too. Cartoons in general. Hope to live long enough to see as many Marvel and DC films as I can. Nerd Generation. All right. So Disney, Star Wars, Wonder Woman to HBO Max. It looks like they're doing some kind of news type of stuff. Not really so much portraits. Yeah, so here's a couple of things. Like when I see stuff like this, where I know that this isn't a photo that they took or a video that they shot, to me, it almost feels like, how could I put this? When you see some of these accounts from like other countries where, you know, they, like I expect to open these things up and for it to be in a totally different language and for it to be like low budget and low quality. And I hope this doesn't sound harsh, but I'm just giving you my impression, right? So what I would say is you've got your profile photo, it looks like, you know, behind the Nerd Generation logo. I want to see you, right? I want to see your face. I don't want to see Disney, Star Wars, Wonder Woman to HBO Max. Like it looks like there's a person, and I'm going to click on one just for kicks and giggles here. So yeah, and it looks like there's some kind of live stream conversation or something like that, and it looks good. But what I would tell you is your thumbnail needs to be you front and center, right? You need to be that face of you know, these different topics that you're going to talk about. And as you do that, people are going to follow you for your particular opinion, not because it's Disney. Like if I'm going to get Disney info, I'm going to go to Disney's Instagram or Star Wars Instagram or go to DC. You know, so if you've got this Instagram page, it needs to be centered around you. And yeah, hopefully that will help you to grow this Instagram page quite a bit bigger. Thanks for the super chat donation. Let's check out Alan Rabuffetti, Miami-based photographer, street event and portrait. DM him for rates and collabs. All right, so this is the Swole edition of Instagram reviews. So good lighting, you know, good subjects, obviously. So we went from, hold on now. So we went from, he's street event and portrait. All right, so we went from people to an airplane touching down. Epic photo, by the way. Beautiful, cute dog portrait. Beautiful landscape. This could be a painting. Like that's beautiful. I don't know where that is, but I just want to take a stroll there. You know, beautiful dog. Epic plane shot there. Yeah, you know, this is another one of those things. Like all of these shots are really good. You know, clean work. The portrait stuff looks awesome. The landscape stuff looks awesome. You know, you got pictures of cars in this thing. Like this is all like, this is all good. This is all clean stuff. You know, my big advice would be like, if you shoot all of this stuff, pick one, you know, or split it up into different Instagram pages and have, you know, a landscape and have portraits and have events, you know, split them up and then just link them in your profiles. Because as it is now, you know, again, especially when it's like 3 photos in a row that are landscapes, if people like this and they follow you for that, and then you start posting portraits, they're going to unfollow you because it's just not focused enough, you know. And it's not that any one of them isn't good. Like these are all good individually. These are great, you know, event photos like this. This is great. But let's say if somebody wanted to hire you for an event, you know, and they see this one photo and they go to your profile, it's like, I got to scroll. Let's see if I can find another event photo. I mean, so far I'm like 10 images deep. More than that, probably. No events. So, but then you've got, you know, street event and portrait. So that's what I would say, like narrow it down, you know, to one thing. And if not, then have separate Instagram pages so that if you're trying to sell your event photography, which is hopefully going to open back up in 2021, you know, I just want to see your event work because then I can figure out, are you going to be good for the type of event that I might want to hire you for if I'm a customer. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for the super chat donation. Let's continue on. The Luska portraits from Slovakia. People portraits through my eyes. All right, let me see it through my eyes. And so right out of the gates, really beautiful portrait work, great subjects that you're working with. Clean retouch. Nice black and whites. 3 in a row though. First one did really good, right? 470, and then it went to 277 and 283. I would have probably guessed that this one did better of the 3 because that's strong, like a really strong expression. Again, similar feedback to what I gave others. Split these up because these might have done better, but when you follow up, like if you're going to do this shot and then you're going to post another one from the same set, it better be like better, you know? And I think this one is not as strong because she's not looking at the camera. Like this grabs me right away because she's looking directly at me. You know, these two, not so much. So split these up, you know, post them a little bit more, just split up. Same thing here. You know, you went from 275 to 147 to 130. You know, this photo is beautiful. This one's really nice too. And this one works, even though it's, you know, I mean, if I just was critiquing the work itself, the pose, she's got her eyes a little bit too far off to the side. I'm not a big fan of showing so much white in the eyes, and it's an easy thing to fix. So she's like this, right? So what you want to do is just have them rotate the waist just a tiny bit so that they're this way and then going this way and then looking in the same direction as their nose, and you won't have so much of this white, but then you'll still have that same over the shoulder type of feel. Beautiful shot. I mean, these are all really beautiful portraits, you know. Let's see if my advice holds true here. 380, 353, 392. See, so like, and then 798. It looks like it's the same person. But again, looking directly at the camera is really strong. Looking off camera, not as strong. Eyes closed, 238, 289, 315, 255. So this should be it. Like I'm seeing a lot of portraits with the eyes closed. You know, this shows off the makeup. This is great for a makeup artist, right? So like I assume you're working with a makeup artist here. So for Andrea, this is a great photo for her to use in her portfolio. For you as the photographer, you want to use these shots, right? Because those are the ones that are going to show off your expertise and your lighting. You know, those shots I will take and I will retouch and I will send them to the makeup artist, hairstylist, whoever, but I'm not posting them on my profile. I'm going to avoid that as much as possible unless I'm just low on content, you know, then that's a different story. But yeah, really beautiful work, you know, beautiful work. Hopefully that advice helps out because I do think that, you know, you're at 1,300 followers. You should be at a whole lot more. Should definitely be at a lot more. Keep up the good work. Let's go to Evan. Shot on A6000. Wow, with a 51.8. Nikon D80, bunch of lenses, Samsung S20. All right, so let's look through a few of these. Colors are very interesting. Definitely has the Instagram color vibe and feel to it, which is cool. A lot of cool street scenes. So my initial impression is like really cool color. But then immediately my next impression is that it's all random. You know, you just have a lot of just random stuff. There's no direction with this profile. You got pictures of people, you got street scenes, you got a picture of the moon. You know, so this is one of those things where I would say like just focus on one thing. You know, if you're going to take pictures of people, places, things, whatever the case might be, that's fine. But focus on one thing and you'll start to see quite a bit more success if you just kind of dive down into one thing. But what I'm seeing is cool. You know, good compositions, interesting colors. Keep on with that, but just kind of narrow it down to what you want to be known for and what you like to do. So really good work. I'm going to go full screen here for a second. So again, a couple of quick things while I continue on, because I see we have some new super chats. So I'm going to try to go through those. But I want to let you know that I have my dramatic portraiture tutorial on sale right now. I run this pretty much every holiday. Throughout the year, it's normally $200. Right now, you can download it for 89 bucks. It basically covers my entire style of shooting dramatic portraitures. You get 4 different photo shoots. You get to see the retouching behind those 4 photos, and each one is different. So I have a retouch where it's super basic, you know, keep it to just like 1 or 2 programs. And then I show you all the way to my full blown, like 2 or 3 hour retouch. This is what I would do. And I break down all those techniques, dodge and burn, you know, how I color my photos, literally everything that you would need to know. And you can download the tutorial right now for 89 bucks. So if you're interested in that, miguelquiles.com. And actually have the link in the description for this video to make things a little bit easier. So with that being said, let's go to our super chats here. I'm going to start loading these up. So let's start off with Roberto. Thank you for your super chat. I'm going to pull up your Instagram here off screen. Shot by Roberto. All right. Cool. All right, let's share. There it is. Okay, shot by Roberto. Arizona beauty, portrait photographer, Sony shooter. All right, let's scroll through some of these images here. All right. Interesting makeup. Great faces. Yeah, really nice work. Good lighting. So a couple of things that I would recommend just right out of the gates. I would highly recommend, so looking at this first one, I would highly recommend if you're going to shoot beauty, you've got good lighting. The makeup work, whoever the makeup artist, Sydney Taylor for makeup, she's doing some really good stuff with the makeup. You're doing a great job with the lighting. The models are doing a great job with their posing. What I would highly recommend to you is that these photographs, I believe you should send them to a retoucher and have them retouch it. And it's no offense to the retouch that you did, but I think this photo has a lot more detail in it than what I'm seeing. It looks like the skin is too smooth. And I think for beauty work, you want to see the texture, you want to see the detail, you want the photos to look real as much as possible. And what looks real is having that detail. This is another example. It's like it's too smooth. This is usually what I see with like frequency separation, where all the colors just kind of get blended together and there's no shape and dimensionality to the face. So, but the lighting is good, the makeup is good, so yeah, this is one where I'd be like, listen, go onto Instagram, look up hashtag beauty retouch, find a retoucher, or maybe find a bunch of retouchers, reach out to them, see what they would charge you to retouch your work, and send it to them, because from a lighting perspective, you're doing great. But I do think these images could look a lot cleaner if you were sending them out to a retoucher who specializes in doing beauty retouches. You don't want to blur the skin. You don't want to do frequency separation where you're blending colors and kind of making the skin smooth, because this image, it says you shot it with an A6400. I expect to see a lot of detail out of an A6400, and I'm not seeing it so much here. It looks kind of smudgy, for a lack of a better word. But beautiful images, great poses. Like, you're doing way better than what I was doing when I was at 814 followers. So Keep up the great work. Really, really nice portfolio. Thank you for the super chat donation as well. And I'll scroll down here. We'll go to our next super chat here. Type this thing up. So Dmitry underscore iakhnob underscore ph. Ooh. Dmitry. So yeah, this is another one too where I would say, because when I search that, I'm getting a bunch of like not scribble, but you know, it's a different language that's showing up in the search. So I'm going to try this again. Dmitry underscore iakhnob. Okay, here it goes. All right, let's go over to screen share. All right, 444 followers, photographer based in Riga. And wow. Yeah, really cool. This person apparently likes to burn their newspapers in different settings. That's interesting. Awesome hair, great makeup, great face. Really, again, the organic style that I like to see to photographs, you know, lots of movement, kick-ass lighting. Yeah, this is a really, really good portfolio, you know. I would say, you know, again, like I was giving the advice earlier to others, but you need to split up these photos a little bit. Doing them back to back like that is not the best approach, in my opinion. Even when they're good photos, like these two right here are really badass, you know. And if you split them up a little bit, they should individually do quite a bit better. You're using your hashtags, you're doing your descriptions, which is great. So yeah, I mean, that's all good, you know, split these things up. It's really good work. Really beautiful, keeping it focused to shooting portraits. The only other advice that I would give you would be your tag here, like your name on Instagram, needs to be a little bit easier to access. I feel like when you have all these underscores in the name, man, like most people, I'm sure if you describe to somebody, if you're like, hey, this is my Instagram handle, and you tell them it's Dmitry underscore iakhnob underscore, as soon as you say that second underscore, people are like, oh man, I'm done with that, you know. So just keep it simple. Like if you can somehow get Dmitry PH or something like that, that would be awesome. But just kind of you know, kind of narrow it down a little bit to where it's easier for people to find your page. But really beautiful work. I mean, I would say just that alone, hopefully just changing it to something a little more simple should hopefully help you quite a bit. So thank you, Dmitry, for your super chat. Let's go to this one here. So we got Harris Photo Chicago. There we go. Okay, boom. All right, headshot and portrait photographer. How I was telling you, he's got a main account, right? Daniel John Harris. So, you know, you have your headshot and portrait page, and then you have a main account. And this is what I'm saying. If you do like headshots and landscapes or products or whatever, make a separate account and just tag it like that, so that if people really love your portraits and they want to see what your landscape stuff is, then they'll click on it. So let's see, going through a few of these, good lighting, good studio lighting. You know, hopefully you guys, I'm not going to, you know, harp on this too much, but, you know, splitting these things up is going to make a huge difference. And I'm kind of shocked when I see like one like. So having a description as well is important. Tagging the person would be recommended if they're on Instagram. One like, I mean, I don't get that. That's a really nice portrait. Yeah, and you're using, hashtags and stuff, but I would tag some of these companies as well, tag some feature pages. Yeah, I'm shocked actually seeing 1 like, 2 likes on, even if it's you have 24 followers, so I guess that somewhat makes sense. But with 54 posts, I would expect to see a little bit more, because this is not like, I've seen bad photos that get quite a bit more engagement. So I think this is just a matter of just writing up some descriptions of these photos, maybe tagging, like you have hashtag A73, but maybe I would put, some kind of descriptor about the photo, and then maybe actually hashtag Sony Alpha, Sony Portraits. There are Godox feature pages that you can use, and then type up in the description the gear that you use so that people can see your work. And if they like it, maybe they follow you just to see what kind of equipment that you use to take the photos. So hopefully that helps. You've got a, good start with your work here. Great images. Let's see. So Visual KBJ, I believe I did yours earlier. Let me double check. Pretty sure I got that one. Let's see. Visual KBJ. Yeah. Let's see. Where did I? Yeah. Okay. So I did get that one earlier. So thank you again for the super chat donation. Appreciate that. Let's keep going here. All right. Anandhu's Polaroid. All right. So ANANBHU official. Okay. There we go. 2D to, or 3D to 2D. Mentor, not an influencer, being loyal to my style. All right, 2,300 followers. And let's see. Yeah. Beautiful work, like beautiful portraits. Again, you guys are noticing, hopefully, and maybe you guys can sound off in the chat what you think about this. Do you agree with me? Because I'm seeing like the proof is somewhat in the pudding here. When I see shots like this, like 3 in a row of the same person, pick the best one, and then like have like a hierarchy. Here you have 3 beautiful tones, beautiful subject, like so ornate, so beautiful, but all 3 of them look the same. They're all with her eyes closed, and outside of the color grade, this is something where I feel like anybody could take a photo of a person with their eyes closed. Like that's very, it's like the most disengaged that a person can be in having their photo taken. So, this is one where I'd be like, hey, look at me for a shot, have your eyes open, give me like a dreamy type of look through the glass, and then post that photo. But obviously the makeup and everything is just phenomenal. The styling is amazing on that, but don't have all 3 of them in a row like that too. And I think that will be big. Your location stuff is beautiful. All these photos have a really organic vibe to them. I'm digging that. But doing 3 in a row like this, just find the one that you think works the best. Usually these photos with, the eyes closed looking down like that, save it for the makeup artist. If there was a makeup artist that worked on the shots, like these are beautiful, So yeah, that's really my biggest advice. You're focused on the portraits, which is great. The styling on these is excellent. Technically, this is good. Lighting is good. Just split me up here, and I think those will do quite a bit better. And love from Orlando, Florida. Thank you for your super chat donation. Hopefully that helps you out. Go to the next one here. And, if you guys are appreciating the feedback, leave a like on this video. Usually live streams don't end up doing super well outside of like people watching them live. And it's sad because I feel like there's just a great opportunity for people to just learn and, you know, hopefully get better. So Nelasco Giovani. Oh, man. All right. This account is private. Heartbroken. You're followed by Jared Poland. You're followed by Printique, by Adorama. But you're private. I just assume you're great. You know, you've got Adorama and Jared Poland following you. They don't follow everyone. But most people will not know your greatness because it's private. So my advice is unprivate your page. Thank you for the super chat donation. That's as far as I can go with that, man. Just if you've got a photography page, then you know, it should be public. And if you've got a private thing going on, that's fine. But yeah, really important. Make it public. All right, here we go. Man, Portrait Junkie's coming in with a $20 super chat. He's coming in strong and heavy. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. He says, learned a thing or two from you. Appreciate that. Support one creative to another. I appreciate that. Thank you. By the way, if I ever catch you in one of these like shows or whatever the case might be, I got to take your portrait because with that beard, dude, I got to take your picture next time. It's got to happen. That beard's on point. So let's go through the work though. Portraits, beauty, lifestyle. He's a curator for Portrait Junkies. All right, and you know the work is all right. You know it's okay. Hopefully you hear that I'm like just being silly right now. This is crazy. Hey, I know her. Familiar faces. Look at that. I don't know if I posted her on my Instagram. I got to go back. She's very funny. She's awesome. But look at this work, guys. Like guys and girls, you know, like this is some strong work right here. Man, and this is the only one, like I'm thirsty right now. So like this photo is looking like especially good for me. But you got all this like awesome fashion work. And then there's just like this super well lit bottle of, you know, liquor here, which I don't know that I would have that on my Instagram feed. I don't know if you just posted it for me because you knew I was thirsty, but appreciate that. But man, all the rest of this work, man, your portraits are like fantastic, you know, Sony A7R4 shooter, 90 macro. So this is it, man. This is what I'm talking about. So for those of you who are having a hard time with trying to figure out like, what do I do with my descriptions and stuff for the photos? Like this is it right here. You know, this is what you got to do. Short description. Here's what I shot it with. Here's the person. Here's how I got the shot. Here's the gear. I'm gonna have to talk to you like offline about this parabolic light because I've been toying around with the idea of trying one of these out, but I'm really curious to see from people who have used it to know what the differences are between using that and using an Octa. I've been seeing some really good stuff from people using those parabolics modifiers though. So yeah, I mean, just fantastic work, man. Working with some beautiful faces, great studio stuff, great location stuff. You know, I think the only, you know, I wouldn't even call it a misstep, you know, but like this for me is a little bit out of place. And, you know, I think maybe your followers may have said that, you know, in the engagement, 337 and 18, and then right afterwards you go 841 and 93. So, but yeah, I mean, this is it, man. This is where I'm sure many of you who are watching, you know, this is where you want to be, you know, having like really clean, really beautiful work. Surprise, only 16,000 followers. I would have expected a lot more. because the work is fantastic. So just keep tagging, pages, keep tagging these brands, keep tagging the people, keep sharing your BTS stuff, the gear that you use, because you're going to start to get a lot of different people that are going to, want to follow your work. So really awesome work. And again, hopefully we cross paths so I can take your picture at some point. I need to get that beard in my portfolio. All right, let's go to the next one. Still an amateur, but don't go easy. Ooh, I like that. Challenge accepted. All right, let's see. Dtsiakalos. All right. Feeling good. Self-taught freelance photographer based in Thessaloniki, in Greece. All right. All righty. So same advice I'm going to start off with right out of the gates. 3 of the same person, even though they're slightly different, just split them up. Again, 3 of the same person. I don't know if maybe there's somebody out there that's just giving this advice that's like contrary, because now this is, I don't even know how many portfolios we've done today that I've run into this where it's like, back to back, like 3 of the same person, but it's not what you want to do. Sharing portraits of people looking away as well. I don't think these, like, this is great. This has like a nice mood and feel to it. So like, I'd be fine with that. But like this one, the photos with them looking away or with their eyes closed, I feel like it's not like showing off your skill as a portrait photographer, because you do have some skills. Like, this is a beautiful photo, great light. You definitely have the skill. You just need to be able to use images to kind of show off that skill. Some of these things, like these photos here with the rope, if you're a portrait person, like this doesn't do anything for you. If you're a rope person, I don't know that this does anything for you. It's fine for a blog post or something like that, but not for Instagram. Looks like we were doing the blackouts. Yeah. So this was June 2nd. So this is probably around the time that the George Floyd terrible stuff was happening. So when you do this, you have to give some context, because now, it's December, and, if I wasn't following the news and I was living under a rock and I just see 3 black boxes, like I would be very confused without context. So you have to use the description to kind of add context to it. But, really nice landscapes, good portraits. So again, this is one of those things where I would say, like, just focus on one thing. The other thing too is make sure that you're keeping an eye on your skin tones. It looks like wherever you were shooting here, you had some fluorescent lights or something that's making her skin look green. Skin tones need to look good, and no one wants to look like they're green unless they're Incredible Hulk. So, but yeah, I mean, beautiful work is just, you got to focus, man. Like, I need you to focus. That's, I'm not going to give it to you easy. So I'm just going to tell you straight up, like, you need to focus. You got pictures of cats, you got ropes, you got flowers, you got leaves. Like, that's all cool. Those are all snaps. Maybe you do a separate Instagram page that's just like you just capturing your everyday life, where it doesn't matter if you get likes on it. It's just kind of your personal space where you can go back and relive your photos. But for the portraits and stuff like that, yeah, focus on that, because you've got, potential with the portraits that you're posting. But, you're holding yourself back by posting a bunch of random shots that don't speak to your skill and your knowledge level as a photographer. So hopefully that helps you out. Thank you for the super chat donation. And let's keep it going here. I think we have a few more. And then I'm going to go eat lunch, because I haven't eaten lunch. But I don't want to leave until I get through these super chats. So Dion, Harris. And I'm not saying that so that you guys just start giving me a bunch of super chats and then this ends up being like a 12-hour live stream. Because I know how you people think. You're gonna be like, oh, Miguel says he's gonna get through all the super chats, so let's just throw him some money and he'll just keep going until he just dies. So Dion Harris Photography, beauty, portrait, fashion photographer. Thank you for the super chat. Let's check out these images. So hopefully you guys already know, again, beautiful photos, right? 6 beautiful photos. Well lit, pose is interesting, makeup is on point, all of that stuff. I don't want to see 3 pictures in a row, like ever. Like just pick one, then pick a separate one for the following time or following day, then pick a separate one. Maybe every 3rd or 4th image you could keep, posting from the same set. But see, here's the problem. I think just to add a little more context to this, right? The problem with it is that when I see 3 of these back to back, my impression is that you're not busy, that you're not shooting, because you posted one and then I want to see something new, but then you give me another one from the same shoot. And then I'm like, well, are they shooting? Like, are they just sitting at home and they, if they took 10 photos, they're just going to go back to back and just keep posting the same photos because they're not working? You want to give off the impression that you're shooting all the time, that you're working all the time, that you're creating new images, that you're busy, even if you're not. And one of the easiest ways to do that is by mixing it up when you post your stuff on Instagram. All 6 of these photos that I'm seeing so far, 9 of these photos, like these are flipping-tastic. They're fantastic. Like this is a beautiful, stunning, well-lit photo, great makeup. The retouching is great. You've got the description, you've got all the people tagged, like everything that I'm seeing here is great, but when you post 3 in a row, it's an impression thing to me that it's just like, it makes it look like you're not as busy. So like, that's really the best advice, because from a technical perspective, it's like all of these look fantastic. This is one that I'm going to talk about here, and I'm glad that I'm seeing this. So anytime that you are taking a picture of a person and you're doing it in a low light environment, like for example, like the studio that I'm in right now, I just have this one gridded softbox here above me. When you're in low light environments, the iris is going to open up really wide. And so in this photograph, this is totally unrelated to the image itself, because it is a beautiful image. But I want to say this for the benefit of you and for other people that are watching, because I've done this many times too. You want to make sure that if you're shooting in a low ambient environment, that you have your modeling light on and have it be like pretty strong, or maybe have a separate light that's literally just like, not registering in the exposure, but that's just lighting their face so that their iris closes down a little bit, because she has beautiful eyes. Like the color in her eyes is just beautiful. And I want to see more of it, but I can't because the iris is massive. And so the reason why it's so massive is that I would be willing to bet money that you're photographing her in like a darker environment, which is causing the iris to like, open up big time. So beautiful shot, but real simple thing. And I'll probably make a video about this pretty soon, because I see this all the time, not just in other people's shots, but in my own shots too, when I'm not paying attention. But you want to make sure that this iris is not so big. The other reason is because this right here, if you see this in day-to-day life, the only times that you see this is when somebody has their pupils dilated or when a person is on drugs. And so, in beauty, you don't really want to see that, because it just doesn't, it's the messaging thing, right? So hopefully that one little tip will kind of help, because everything else is like, this makeup is on point, this lighting is on point, like the retouching is on point. Yeah, your models are awesome. Like this is good stuff. This is really good, really clean work. And so you're at 2,400 followers. I think you keep doing what you're doing, and it's going to continue to grow and get better. So really awesome. Thank you, Dion, for letting me check out your stuff. And let's see. Wow. All right. Well, what I just did here. Okay, here it goes. All right. Starpoint photography. Help, please. All right. I'm going to try to help. Starpoint. Hopefully this is the right one. I'm going to guess that this is the right one. Hopefully it is. Let me know. Because it is Starpoint photography. So, yeah. So let's assume that this is right. Alpha female. All right. So a couple of things. So, yeah, there's a lot of like really interesting photos here. Looks like there's just a lot of activity and like a lot of people, you know, getting out and doing stuff. Looks like this is August 6th. Man, no masks. What is happening in Detroit right now? But, you know, like there's a lot of cool scenes here, like a lot of interactions with people, which, you know, I think from a documentary standpoint, like that's really cool. A lot of social activism, which is great. So pieces of my work mixed with bits of my life. So I think that right there is kind of just like everything that I'm going to tell you, which is that it needs to be pieces of your work on one page, bits of your life on another page. You know, that's going to give you the best success. The people that are interested in your personal stuff, social activism, things like that, they will follow you personally. And then the people that want to hire you for work, they don't want to see the social activism stuff. You know, maybe some do because they just want to see if you align with them. But, you know, that's something where like, it's like a bonus, you know, when they start working with you and they realize like, oh, wow, you know, you're into the same things that I'm into. Like, great. You know, now the experience of working with that person is going to be so much better. But that's really the biggest advice is really split up the two, because from a technical perspective, you've got really nice shots. You know, it's just all over the place. And I think with a little more focus, you'll start to see quite a bit more success. So thank you for the super chat. Let's go to the next one here. Apryntis. Husband, father, student of life and light. I like that. So we got 115 followers. So let's look through these here. So interesting colors. Yeah, a lot of the same person, which I'm not a huge fan of. It's okay if there's a bunch of them in the portfolio as a whole, but you just want to mix it up to where, you know, it doesn't feel like, oh, I only photographed this one person. But yeah, wow, like great portraits, you know, moody lighting, which is great. And then you've got some random snaps kind of mixed in. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be very similar advice to a lot of the other ones that I gave. You know, just mix it up a little bit. The other thing too is like split up these Instagram profiles where you're sharing like random snaps versus like your professional portraits. These, I'm just going to say, I hate fairy light photos. Like I absolutely despise them. So, you know, if you ever ask me, like, I'm not that guy. Like, I hate fairy light photos. These photos to me make little to no sense. They look visually interesting, I think, for like, you know, the newbie photographers that are out there, because they're like, oh, wow, it's bokeh. Like, that's so cool. But from an actual, like, pure photography standpoint, these photos make no sense whatsoever. And I'm not saying yours specifically, but I'm saying broad scale, right? Like fairy light photos in general. Majority of them that I see are like people wrapped up in fairy lights, or I see them handing you a bowl, or, you know, handing you a handful of fairy lights. And from a visual perspective, the bouquet is cool. But once you've seen one, you've seen them all, which I think is the big problem with it. The second problem is, from a storytelling perspective, it makes no sense, because you would never run into a person in real life wrapped up in fairy lights, right? You would never walk up to a person in real life who's handing you a handful of fairy lights. Like, you know, if they did, they're crazy, and I'd probably like drop kick them, because I'd be afraid they were like a cryptid or something. You know, they're skinwalkers. Like, I would be nervous about that. So again, totally aside, not necessarily speaking to your image, but I'm just saying in general, like, the fairy light craze, I really wish would just come to an end, because when I see all these other shots, like, you have beautiful portraits in here, you've got beautiful moments. They're all a little bit random, right? But the stuff that I'm seeing looks really good. Like, keep your portrait work like this on one page. And then if you want to share, you know, landscapes and street scenes, street photography, things like that, that's cool too. You know, events and stuff like that that are happening, which throughout the country, that's been a big thing. Keep them on separate pages, so that people who are into that type of thing, that's all you're going to hit them with. You're not going to hit them with a bunch of random stuff. And then when you do that, if you do that, split up your portraits of people so that it doesn't feel like you're photographing the same person. You want to give the impression that you're, you know, doing more than just photographing the same person over and over, even if it's a family member or friend, a spouse, girlfriend, whatever the case might be, son, daughter. Just mix it up, you know, because you've got some really, really clean work. And then split up the work that you post, you know, until you get super famous. And then again, all bets are off the table, because you can do whatever you want, you know. But hopefully that helps. Thank you for your super chat donation. Let's keep it going here. I think I got a few more to go. All right, so let's check this one out here. Mr. Headcase. All right. I'm a camera guy. CLTMYC, DM me for print info. All right, 128 followers. All right. So lots of color, lots of interesting stuff with light. Yeah, you know, really, really cool. I mean, this to me feels like Instagram, you know, like when I look and I see Instagram pages, like this is the kind of stuff that I see that's very, very common, is like standing in front of neon lights, you know, with complementary colors. Usually that type of stuff is like really graphic, and people on Instagram tend to see the bigger Instagrammers do it, and they do it themselves. There isn't necessarily anything wrong with that, but it's very common and it's hard to see it being done well. You know, the steel wool stuff is another one of those things. I think to see a really interesting steel wool shot in a way that hasn't been done before, I think is really hard to do. And this one, it looks like they moved during the exposure, so they look kind of blurry. So yeah, you know, I mean, you got the description and the hashtags and stuff, which is cool, but I do think like this is very common, you know, when you're starting out, and maybe I don't know how long you've been doing this, but you know, usually when people start out and they're trying to learn the fundamentals of photography, they see shots like this and they're like, oh, cool, I want to make a shot like that for my portfolio. But the problem is that in the beginning, it's really hard to execute these types of photos and do them really well, and do them in a way that's not like just another one. Like, for example, the shots where you get the girl in a pool and they fling their hair, and you take that shot where it's like, it's got the, you know, hair flinging, and you got that perfect arch in their hair. That's one that I see newer photographers all the time. They're like, ooh, I want to take that photo. And they're learning shutter speed for the first time. And then they get that shot and then they throw it on social media. It's kind of just that low hanging fruit that I think when you're starting out, it's perfectly fine. You could shoot it and practice because it does help you to learn the basics of photography. I would just say for Instagram purposes, I wouldn't post those because that's more of like you trying to learn versus like, this is a portfolio. This is like my work, you know, this is my voice. You know, that's not your voice. That's like millions of other people that have done the same thing. So unless you're going to do it differently, which at this point, I don't know how it would be done, but I tend to steer clear of like standing in front of neon signs, you know, steel wool. You know, these first two photos I think are pretty creative, like good bokeh, good color. So yeah, you know, and same thing here with the light painting. You know, nothing wrong with it. Like it's fine, but you know, like this is another one where like they look a little bit blurry. It looks like maybe the focus wasn't hit quite precisely. Yeah. You know, just keep shooting. Like your portraits here are really nice. These scenes are really nice. And then you've got these like, you know, kind of like what I would consider to be like practice shots, you know, and those are not the ones that I would post up on my Instagram page if I was trying to grow a page. So kind of narrow it down to what you want to do. You know, if you want to do the portrait stuff, if you want to do the Instagrammy stuff, the creative type of portraits, that's fine. But just focus, dial in on that, and you should be good. So I think you've got another one here. So we'll go to that one really quick. URDES images. 98 followers, portraits. All right. So now we're focusing in on some portrait stuff. Love that. Good lighting. Yeah. I did this when I started out too. I did one where we used to have like a big group of us that would play kickball. And so I would put the camera on continuous shooting because, again, I was learning photography and learning post-production and all the cool stuff you can do. And I did a similar shot to this middle shot here where, like, as the person was running to kick the ball, I would just do like 4 frames a second because I think that's what my camera would do at the time. So they were running and then they kicked the ball. And then you go into Photoshop and you stack all the images together and then just kind of blur out, or you erase out the backgrounds and stuff from the one shot. So you have one photo where it's multiple, like it's the person here and then here and then here and then kicking. And this kind of reminds me of that when I first started. But, you know, the main guy, right, your main person here is blurry and they're out of focus. So just keep these things in mind. Like you're doing it well. Like here, it looks like it's a little bit soft, a little bit out of focus. But yeah, you know, that's not happening on all the shots. Like some of these are coming out fine. So yeah, you know, happy birthday. Like that's cool. You know, keep it on the personal pages, you know. That's really the biggest advice that I can give. Your portrait stuff is on its way. It's looking good. Make sure that you're getting the eyes in focus. Really just drill down and stay focused on, you know, stay focused on what you want to grow with, you know. So hopefully that helps you out. Thank you for the super chat donation. And let's keep it moving here. All right. So let's go to TOAN win. All right. So 946 followers, creativity with a camera. All right. That's nice. Ooh, okay. Starting off with some interesting photos. That's actually kind of interesting. So you know how earlier today, if you were here, there were some people that were posting their images and they had black bars on the side because it wasn't a 4:5 aspect ratio. This is actually kind of cool because they have the whole photo with a border and then they just take the same photo and just blow it up in the background and make it blurry. I've seen this before, but the times that I've seen it, you still have the lines with the blurry photo and then it's like the full image. I like how this has the border. That's cool. I like that. So that's my first impression. Yeah, you know, really, really nice portraits, but then you got a picture of shoes. You know, stick to the one thing. You know, if you're going to be doing shoes, that's fine. Like, okay, so if you're going to do shoes and portraits, it's fine, but your portraits need to have the shoes in them. And then like the individual photos of shoes make more sense. But like if you have pictures of shoes and then you have a picture like this where this dude probably is wearing shoes, but I can't see it, you know, and same thing here, then it's just like, I don't know what that photo is doing other than to just be like, hey, here's a random picture of some shoes I like. Like people aren't interested in that. And if they are, they will follow your page just for that. And they're going to want to see more of that versus just seeing that one-off photo. Same thing with the building. Same thing here with this. Like this is cool, you know, just cool photos, cool portraits. Right now, I'm really digging your portrait stuff. The landscape stuff is fine. I just would recommend not having it on the same page. You know, stuff with the cars and stuff like that. Like I know it's a pain in the neck to have multiple Instagram profiles, but you know, if you want to attack Instagram and make it, you know, something that you do and something that could be successful, like you really have to focus and drill in. But hopefully that helps you out. Nice portrait work is really kind of the name of the game here. So let's see. Okay. Help is needed. Well, let me see if I can help you. DJEHA_. Okay, let's see what I can do for you here. All right, 2495 followers, DM for pricing, bookings, and promos, established 2018. All right, so great exposures, good technical, you know, like good balanced exposures, which I'm appreciative of. The color grading and everything looks real natural. It's not like super fake looking and over the top, which is great. Great faces, great lighting, good stuff on location, good stuff in studio. You know, very similar to what I was saying before, like these shots of the people with their eyes closed, I feel like those are not the best ones to post. You know, same thing here. I would venture to guess if you look through your portfolio, you look through your Instagram page and you see the photos where the person's looking at the camera versus the ones where they're, you know, with their eyes closed, they probably are not going to be your best performing photos. Just generally speaking, you know, like you've got so many good ones, like great leading lines, good post-processing, really clean work. I don't know what kind of help you need other than to tell you, like, try to focus on shots where the person is, you know, looking at the camera, because they're awesome. Like this is beautiful, you know, like birthday shot, like that's that's a great photo. You know, same thing here, like beautiful photo, you know, very editorial type of vibe to it. You know, posting photos of the same person back to back, you already know how I feel about that. You know, photo with the eyes down, you know, this feels like in between type of shot because there's so much color, beautiful skin tone, beautiful dress, great makeup. This is great for the makeup artist if there is one, but not for your portfolio. I need to see her eyes because if not, what's going to end up happening is I just scroll right past this. You know, she's beautiful. She's worthy of attention. And the way that you grab the person's attention is going to be with that engagement with the camera. So some people, if they're not models, they're not natural to do that, right? It's more natural to do this when you're uncomfortable being in front of the camera or doing this, right? It's really hard to do this, right? That's very difficult to do when you're shy about being in front of a camera. So that's my best advice to you. You know, get people to really engage and look at your camera. And I think sky's the limit. Beautiful work. Let's keep it going here. Here we go. All right. I'm a beginner from India. Please say some words. Oh, I got words. Don't you worry about that. BTATAN _27. All right. Here's some words coming at you. I'm trying to click some beautiful shots. Please support me to go further. All right. So I'm not even going to scroll. I'm just going to stop right here. I'm going to say a couple things. Number one, your profile photo. I like the black and white, but I only see half the face. And I think this profile photo is not super flattering. There's not enough detail. There's not enough information there. You would be just as well served having like a black circle for a profile than to have this. So I would say if you're going to do a picture like this, you have to bring up the detail in the shadows so that we can see that there's a person there, because I want to see your face if I'm looking through your Instagram profile. The other thing is, this is really common, I think, for photographers to say like they're going to try to do something. You're not trying to click some beautiful shots, right? You might be, like in reality, you are trying, but you don't want to tell people that, right? I don't even think it's of any value. It's almost like people say that sometimes, and I feel like they're saying that because maybe they don't have confidence in their own work. And so it's easier when you've already kind of kicked yourself, you know, like people may not be as eager to kick you because they're like, oh, he already knows his work isn't good. But maybe the work is good and you've already got them in this mindset. Like I haven't even looked at your photos. And when I read, I'm trying to click some beautiful shots, I'm thinking like, you know, like you haven't been able to do it. Like I'm just trying, right? So I would say get rid of that. Please support me to go further. I would get rid of that. Instagram is not about, what do you call that? Not goodwill. You know, the word is eluding me right now because I need to get some coffee, but it's not about like doing things just to be nice, right? Like people support Instagram pages because they like the work or they like the artist. You know, they're intrigued, they want to see more, so they follow you because they want more of what you do. So you can make mention of the journey that you're taking as an artist, but I think any verbiage that you type that make it seem like you're not confident in the work that you're doing, and I'm saying this not just to you, I'm saying this again for the benefit of everybody that's here, because a lot of you guys have submitted your pages, and you know I want to try to get through as many as I can, but you know that's the big thing, right? So I'm going to look at the images now. And so we've got a lot of, you know, interesting, like great styling, Christmas lights, me no likey. I already talked about why. A few of these shots are a little underexposed for my taste. You have good lighting, but I think in the raw, you know, these photos are a little bit underexposed. So you got to boost them up just a little bit. Same thing here. You know, a lot of these photos are just slightly underexposed. So I would bring them up just a touch. Really interesting scene. Good lighting, really dramatic type of situation that you're in there. You know, there's just a lot of random snaps here, you know, like this is fun. But yeah, you know, and then you've got some black and whites, you got some colors mixed in, then you have some really beautiful shots like that. You know, great close-up portraits that show, you know, texture and detail, and then a bug, you know. You know, this is cool. Like keep doing this, right? You know, this is like your personal page or whatever, so this is fine. Like you could do this because you're trying to like, you're establishing your voice. You're trying to figure out who you are, what you're about. You know, you want to show people your life and your world through your eyes. Keep doing it, you know, keep doing it. You're off to a good start. As time goes on, really try to focus in on like, you know, what you're about. Are you a portrait person? Are you into like street photography? Because each of these disciplines that I'm seeing here, they all require different skill sets. So that's why, like, if you follow my work, I'm very like focused on the things that I like to do. And those are the things that I post. And that's not to say I don't shoot other things, because I shoot a lot of stuff, but I don't show that stuff on my Instagram because I want to be known for portraits. Right. And so until I've built up this like killer body of work of like whatever else it is that I shoot, which I won't tell you until you see it one day. You know, these are things that like I would just keep it to a personal page, which you're doing. So on that end, keep it going. Hopefully that's enough words for you to get some good information and value out of it. So we'll keep it going here. Let's see. So Kevin Spencer, thank you for the super chat. Let's KLS Photography 205. All right. Mr. KL Spencer, beauty, editorial, wedding, Birmingham, Alabama. Let's take a look here. 2,300 followers. All right, what are these white boxes? What is this? What is this? All right, could somebody fill me in, or maybe if you're in the chat, fill me in on what these white boxes are about? Is there like a whiteout Instagram thing that I'm not privy to? Because these right here are beautiful. Like we go from white boxes to like really beautiful studio shots, you know? I'm already like, I already want to see more of this. And then right after that, we've got more white boxes with hope. So here's the problem with this. The problem is that if I see it on your profile, it makes sense, right? But when you see it in the timeline, like when you're scrolling and you just see a white box, I could tell you this right now. If I was scrolling through, if I followed, let's say, for example, let me go here. Let's just say, for conversation's sake, that I saw this photo as I was scrolling and I'm like, hot damn, that is a beautiful photo. Great lighting, beautiful model, cool styling. I'm gonna follow this man because I like his work. And then you follow it up with this, and this pops up maybe a day later. I'm scrolling and I see this. Oh, there's my boy again. He's back in it. Beautiful. Drop a like. Then I see this one. Oh, once again, same set. Getting a little tired of it, but it's good. Can't, you know, give it a like. And then all of a sudden I see this with no description. I'm going to unfollow you like in a heartbeat. And I'm not saying you specifically. I'm saying anyone in general that does this. I will follow them immediately or unfollow them immediately. Anybody who has these pictures where it's like, you know, 9 photos and it's like you're getting a little piece of a photo here and there, I'm unfollowing immediately. Like, and I know a lot of people that will do the same thing. So yeah, and same thing here. I love what you do. You know, you still have all these white boxes. So I get it now. I get it. But don't do that. Not on Instagram. It's not that kind of, you know, place where, you know, you want to have real estate being taken up by white boxes or any color boxes for that matter, especially when your work itself is good. You know, your portraits, your studio stuff, like, come on now, you know, this is good. You know, I like all of this stuff, beautiful photos. And then it's just like, it's all separated, you know? So what I would say is like, I don't know. I don't know that this does anything for you, you know? And I think the people that follow you are telling you that when you get 5 likes, you know, but then on your photographs, you're getting 40s, 70s, you know? So I think your followers are telling you like less of this and a whole heck of a lot more of this, because this is good stuff. I want to see more photos. I don't want to scroll and be interrupted by, you know, a bunch of like miscellaneous things, you know, inspiration. Okay, cool. Be inspired. I really need to see more. You know, if I see a post like this, inspiration, I'm expecting to see a description that gives me some feels, you know? So anyway, not to beat a dead horse, because I think you get where I'm going with this, because your photos are on point. I imagine you're making some money because your work is really clean. It's really good. But just all this stuff, I would, if it was me, it was my page, I would go in right now, I would delete all of that stuff. And I should be scrolling and just seeing banger shot after banger shot. Like, I don't want to see, you know, all of this kind of stuff. And I think, again, unless I was seeing these posts get a whole bunch more engagement, you know, I think that your 2,300 people that are following you are telling you the same thing. Like, just stay away from it. But thank you for the super chat. Hopefully that helps you. A lot of this stuff is like really like simple stuff in most cases. So, you know, that's kind of the thing. So, so here I got Danzayan. He says, if you not pay, you not choose. Laugh out loud. Ridiculous thing. Bye. So here's the deal, right? As you guys might be aware, if you guys are giving super chat donations and I don't get to your stuff, I think you guys would be pretty disappointed. So I'm prioritizing those people who are giving the super chats until there aren't any more. Like right now, I've pretty much gone through all of them. So now I will go ahead and I will go through some of the other people who submitted their profiles here and look over them. And I'll do two more here before I close things out. So Carlos, Gouvia. Okay, put this up here. So from Montreal, Canada, thank you for all the tips. My pleasure. Thank you for putting your Instagram profile here for us to take a look at it. So 300 followers. So each of these photos in and of themselves, like, they're beautiful. Like, these landscape photos are really beautiful. They're nice photos. This wedding shot is nice. The portrait, studio lit portrait, is nice. You know, this is one of those things, like, good lighting, good moment. You know, you got a concert scene, beach. So each of these are fine. You know, the event stuff is great. The concerts. So just like I was saying earlier with a lot of other people who kind of submitted their profiles, but the key is that you want to make sure that you focus on one thing. You know, to have all these different things on here, I think makes things a little bit tricky. So yeah, that's really my big advice. The photos themselves, quality-wise, are really good. So hopefully that helps out. Let me go through this here. Let's see. Lenworth was saying I missed his. So let me know in the comments, what was your profile? Because I didn't see it. Scrolling through, I don't see you anywhere. I've been going for a minute. My camera is probably going to die in a second, so it might just be audio only for a second here. Yeah, I think I'm going to go to this last one here. We'll try to get this, and then I'll be back on tomorrow with Irene Rudnick. And hopefully you guys will be there for that. So TK or TY Cooley, we've got 1,549 followers and very colorful, like really colorful shots. There's this haze over the shots, which I think is kind of just your style. I don't know that I get it. Like, I kind of want to see this sharp. I don't want to see that haze, but yeah. So that's really my feedback. These are beautiful photos, like great color. I just want to see, like, I don't want to see them all dreamy and blurry. I think that's like a post-production thing, or maybe you have a UV filter with some like Vaseline or something on it that's giving that haze, but it works without all that trickery. You don't need that. I think it's good. Lenworth.Johnson. Let me take a look at that one. And then the last one's going to be shot by Ordero. So Lenworth Johnson, great photography is all about being a storyteller and capturing intangible moments. Yes, it is. Ooh, look at that. Hey, I did a photo like that before. I like that. Really beautiful. good lighting. I would say bring up the exposure a little bit in the shadows. Those shadows are a little too deep. When you have dark skin and you have really dark shadows, sometimes it makes them look a little too menacing. Yeah, really nice, clean studio stuff. Cool concepts. Look at that hair. Playing cards. That's cool. Got a few videos mixed in there. Got some beauty work. Yeah, this is cool. The lighting is good. I would say just really simple kind of advice that I would give you. Yeah, this stuff right here, you already know. That's got to go. And again, just my opinion. But yeah, some of these double exposures, these look cool. I think you have some really like creative stuff on here, really clean work. Keep doing more of that. Be a little bit more critical over the kinds of portraits that you post and beauty work. Like this is one where I don't know that looks pleasing. Like usually in a beauty image, when you do something like this, and I see where you're going with it from a concept perspective, this might be one that I do like a super close up on the lips. She has good lipstick on, but like this face that she's making with this gumball, she's not looking at the camera either. It just looks like someone said, hey, put this gumball in your mouth and look at the camera. Like there's no, we're talking about storytelling at the beginning of your profile that you mentioned that. This doesn't tell me a story. This looks like an in-between type of expression. And so, I'm seeing it with some of your other shots. Like even with this one, I would tell you too, like, I don't know where these people are looking. I don't know if it's direction that's being given to them, but like she needs to look at you. When they're looking off camera like that, like right now, I'm looking at her and I'm like looking over my head trying to figure out like, what is she looking at? And I want her to look at me, So, yeah. But like from a technical perspective, it's tough because it looks great, Same thing on this one here too. Like I kind of like these with the color checker passports, but this is one where like her face to me, like she's got great makeup, she's beautiful, but I don't think the expression she's making is engaged or flattering. She's got this like what I call deer in the headlights. It's kind of like, oh my goodness, I'm about to have my picture taken. She looks really shocked. And I'm willing to bet you like when she warmed up, she's probably slaying it because she's got the styling, great makeup, the hair, like beautiful face. But you want to show those photos where people look their absolute best, and you're doing a good job of it because I see a bunch of it. It's just every so often I'm seeing a few of these photos where it's like not the strongest expression. And that all goes back to you because you're showing these as your best work. And so people can get a lot of ideas about the taste that you have in photos based on what you decide to show on your feed. So, but overall, really beautiful work. And I love these. My makeup artist took forever to put those gold flakes on when I did that shoot. And they're still some of my favorite images, but like it just took her so long to do. But thank you so much for submitting your profile here. We'll go to Shot by Odero. Did I spell that right? No, I put short. Sorry. Shot by Odero. Here we go. All right. I could speak for myself, but pictures do a better job explaining. Let's take this journey together. I'm ready. Shot by Odero. Take me on this journey. 420 followers. Yeah, so already like these images, beautiful studio lighting. From what I could tell looking at the thumbnails, beautiful processing. They look great. I just don't want to see 3 of them back to back, right? So split it up, pick the best one. Same thing here, beautiful model, great lighting. Again, 3 in a row. I don't know where this advice is coming from people. I don't know if it's just like a like a common, like people just decide to do this like on their own. But yeah, don't post 3 of the same set back to back, you know, and if you do, make one post and make it to where people can swipe through and see them. You know, this one, I think I get the idea. It's supposed to be like the cards kind of like circling around, but I could see the wire. So like, I don't know if that works so much as a concept. This lighting is beautiful. Gels on dark skin is pretty awesome. I'm going to go full screen here for a second because my camera battery has decided to give up the ghost. But yeah, you know, cool concepts, like great lighting. The retouching is clean. This is what I was trying to talk about earlier when I was telling you guys the having these photos where it's just like a piece of a photo and it makes up like one big photo. I think these should not be like this. Like, just post the one image as a whole, because, you know, then you just like end up with these photos where when you're scrolling in your timeline and you see like a black box or you see just hair like this, people are not going to click on your profile. Like this right here, if this showed up on my timeline, I'm not going to be so intrigued by a black box that I click on your name unless I'm going to unfollow you. And I know a lot of people are going to do that. So yeah, that's the thing. Highly recommend that. So yeah, hopefully that feedback helps. I mean, your work is clean. You got really good work here. So keep up the great work. And let's see, I'm going to head over to the comments section here for a second. So I got KRP official says, you keep ignoring my comments. I commented before him. You know, that's just the way it works sometimes. Like, I'm trying to get through as many of these as possible, but there's a lot of you and there's only one of me. So trying to do the best I can, man. Give a brother a break. You know, hopefully being able to see other people's feedback is, you know, helpful and useful. And, you know, if I could see your post that you're referring to, I'd be happy to try to take a look at it. But right now, I don't see your stuff, so I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. So Lenworth was saying, thanks for the feedback. My pleasure. So yeah. So anyway, since my camera is toast right now, I'm just going to go ahead and just say this. So I'm going to pull up really quick. So if you go to my website right now, which you can see, I post a lot of my work through there, but there's a store link here. So just letting you guys know, Dramatic Portraiture right now, it's on sale, $89. And you can see the trailer, so you can see exactly what the whole tutorial is about. But basically, I talk about gear recommendations. We talk about different types of light, how to sell your work. In doing dramatic portraiture, I talk about the differences between using an ND filter versus high-speed sync and the advantages of each one. We talk about speed light setups and studio strobes and kind of what's the difference between those. Posing, how to get good expressions out of people. And I don't just talk about it. I also show you how I go about doing that. And then you see male subjects, female subjects. But then best of all is that I actually take each of these images. So you see how I shot it, which I think is really important. And then I go into post-production and I actually show you how I retouch each individual image, because I don't retouch every photo the exact same way. Sometimes I do a quick basic retouch and I show you what that process is on this tutorial. And other times, you know, it takes a while. So I sit there and I show you step by step, like, what do I have to do to get this image to look the way I want it to look? So you can see each of the chapters. You can see the runtime for each chapter, you know, a couple of still images from the videos. And so this is honestly one of my most comprehensive tutorials that I've ever made on this topic of shooting dramatic portraits. So, you know, you can get an idea of how I do it looking at my free content on YouTube. But if you want to go in depth, if you want to go 7+ hours with me to see how I do stuff from start to finish, shoot, it's $89 right now. Like, honestly, like when I made this tutorial, I thought to myself, you know what, I'm just going to do like one shoot and one retouch, and that's going to be the $89 price. And like I already promised it as this like comprehensive tutorial. And so that is what I delivered. So, yeah. So with that being said, it's on sale right now. So if you guys want to learn more, definitely check out my dramatic portrait tutorial because it's on sale right now. After this special is over, it's going to go up to $199. And yeah, so KRP official. So I had to scroll to go and find your handle. So let me go ahead because I'm just that kind of guy. I'm gonna hook you up so that you're not grumpy that I am ignoring you, because I'm not ignoring you. It's just there's a lot of people in the chat. All right. So here you go. I better see some really good stuff. As much as of a fuss as you make it in the chat, I better see some good stuff. All right. So we got Kenyal photography, Jamaican photographer, portraits, fashion, editorial, and product. All right, good. All right, you make it a fuss because you got some good photos here. You want me to stroke the ego. So I got you, my man. These are good photos, really good lighting, good location work. Looks like you got some studio lighting mixed in here as well, which is really good. A couple quick things. So like, two photos here that are kind of jumping out at me, this photo here and the one in the bottom. I'm going to assume that you're doing your own retouching here. Be really careful when you're retouching around sharp lines like lips. It looks like maybe you use frequency separation to do your retouching, and this skin to me looks a little bit overdone, because the colors are all just kind of blended in a way that's not supernatural. Not supernatural like, ghost, but like super in a natural, you know what I'm saying? Like it looks very, to me, it looks like it's over processed. And it's the same thing with this shot here. Maybe this one a little less so. This one isn't as like noticeable. But you just want to be careful when you're retouching around sharp lines, because sometimes when you see blur around the lines like that, it's kind of a giveaway that, it was just like, it was retouched a bit much. But like, man, like these photos, this is beautiful, really beautiful photos, great tones, great compositions, beautiful people that you're photographing too, which, makes life a little bit easier, according to some people. I know that it's really difficult to make good looking people look good in photos too. But like, you're doing a really good job with, taking good photos of people and making them look great. So, I'm just teasing you, right? I know you were, mad that I skipped you, but there were a lot of people in the chat. So hopefully that feedback helps you. Appreciate it. Love you. So anyway, with that being said, this is going to be my last one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I got to save my voice because tomorrow I'm going to be joined by Miss Irene Rudnick. So you guys are going to get two of us giving you guys our feedback, our perspectives on your work. So join us tomorrow right back here on my YouTube channel. And later on this week, I've got a couple of videos that I'm going to be putting out. Probably one this week, and then the other one will come out next week. One of them comparing the A7R4 with the ZV-1, and then one of them comparing or actually talking about studio accessories that I think that you guys might find really useful. So with that being said, thank you guys for the super chats. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you guys could do me this huge favor, leave a like on this video if you guys got value. It really helps me out. And also subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, because I do have a goal, which I don't know if it's going to happen. It's a bit of a stretch, but I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by January 1st. And I'm at like 92 right now. So it would make me so happy. I would do like a cartwheel, and I can't do them, but like I would do a cartwheel on camera if I got 100K. So, help me to do that. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I'm going to see you back here tomorrow, hopefully, with Irene Rudnick. We can go through some more profiles and help you guys to improve your photography. So with that being said, have a fantastic day. Be good. See you later.